everybody, and welcome back to Code with Marley. Today, we are going to learn how to make our first library. And you're probably wondering two things. First of all, why am I in full screen? The answer is because we're going to need a lot of space. And second of all, what in the world is a library? Well, a library, remember this line of code here? Hashtag include servo.h. Remember that? Servo, or servo.h if you want to call it, is a library. Oops. Servo.h is a library. So, we are going to figure out how to make a library called led.h. And to make that, what we need to do is, well, you're probably first wondering what the led.h does. Well, let me show you. What's supposed to happen is this. I want to be able to have two functions. Turn on and off an LED. So I have a function, void on, and then we have void off. So what these do is the on function turns on the LED, and the off function turns off the LED. Now guess what else I want? Remember that when we write servo, my servo, or whatever you want to call it? Well, this here is called an instance mode. But there are also ones where you give in some things. Just like new ping. Remember when we had new ping? We need to give in 3 different things. Now, what I want to do is do the exact same thing. And what we call that is the constructor. Now that's not how you actually do it. I'll show you soon. But what we are going to do is in here, we want to take in one thing. Int the pin. The LED pin. So what we have there is it takes in the pin that our LED is going to be on. And then what we need to do here is pin mode LED pin output. Plus, I also want another variable called the pin to be inside only for the class to be able to use. Only for our library to be able to use. So that's going to be an integer. Int pin. So what we have here is pin equals LED pin. And then this here though is not going to be in here. This here we're going to have in another function called begin. So LED, and then I'm going to write the code here on the on function, which is digital write LED on, and high, and then alright LED. Oh no, we have that's pin, right? Not LED. Pin. And I know it's not really gonna turn orange, but in my case I already have another library I made that makes pin orange. Low. And now I also want one other function, void analog. Now what analog does is it sets it using analog right. Now what we have here though is we need an integer. Actually no, it's a long. Now that long there is going to, long is kind of like a very big number. We don't need it unsigned because, well actually, I'll use unsigned. Because we don't want negative numbers. That there will give us errors. So we only want it to work with positive. And that there is going to give us the right. Or actually, I think right would be better. Unsigned long amount. And this here we'll use analog right the pin as the amount. And to make sure that my spelling is not wrong, I go like that. Now, what we're gonna do here is ink pin. Okay, there we go. And maybe in another video, which this is gonna be probably a series of 3 videos, I can go void, and this could be like flash. Because what if we want it to go? Well, what if we want it to blink at a certain amount at a time? And actually, if you want to get time, you go like this. And well, that there probably won't work, but still, if you're trying to make a variable for time, use time underscore t or time underscore d, because those are things that most libraries will use. But if you already have a library installed, I do not recommend you do that, especially if it turns on. But what we will do there is we'll have, if you want to get the amount of milliseconds actually that it was on, go millis. That's a function that returns the amount of milliseconds that the Arduino has been powered, or on reset that there does. Like, you know the reset button that there just reruns to set up and goes over. It just quits the program and reopens it again. But what if you want it to be in microseconds? You go micros. And by the way, if you want to wait for a microsecond amount, you have delay. You can do 2 things. Either delay the amount divided by, the time in micros divided by 100. And no, I don't think that's gonna work. But what will work is delay microseconds. That there is a function. And what I like doing though is void. I like going void delay micros because I don't like writing the whole word out. And this here just gives me the exact same thing. But anyways, let's get into the library because this is going to be a longer video, about 20 minutes or something. And if you heard that right, sorry. Just continue, okay? It's going to get fun right now. What we're going to do is we are going to create a folder for it. So we go to developer, which is a folder I have, and I have multiple folders. I think I already showed you this for the iOS, developer iOS, the chocolate factory, and you're gonna notice something else coming up too that you'll remember from the iOS, unless you didn't watch it, but that's okay. We don't need that there anymore. Command N, no, like that. Command Shift N, and if you're on Windows, you can go like this, right click, new folder, but in my case, I'm going to go ahead and do Command Shift N, and that should do the trick. Now, what we need here is we need to do in the exact same name. We're going to call this LED. All uppercase. Because I don't like things lowercase completely. Like that's actually also how you write the word LED. Anyways, let's see what else there is. What we need to do here is, well, create 2 different files, which we are going to use Xcode for. Remember that? Well, you could also use any other editor like TextEdit, but I have so many files open I really don't want to use it. You could also use the Arduino IDE, which actually I'll show you how to do. Command N, and then you give in your code here, and then you go Command S to save it, which will be Control N for new file, and Control S on Windows. That's how it is. Anything that I say command is probably going to be Control on Windows. Now here we go. All we need to do is give in the name here, and go to the place. No, my library's LED. What's this? It's another library I made. That's how it's gonna look soon. But in the meantime, we have this. And what you're going to do is .cpp, and that will allow it to know that it's a C++ file, and .h if it's going to be a header file. So let's save there. And as you can see, we have this. We open it up, and we just remove the .eno after it. That there will let it know that this is an H file, a header file. And now if you open this up with Xcode, as you can see, this is a header file now. And if you want it to be C++, replace the H with CPP, because we also need header and CPP.
Attention.
So,
are you sure you want to change?
I'm going to change that to C++. Rename this as LED. And actually, I'm going to get this out of the folder, because I don't need that folder there, which I actually don't want there. Now we go like that, and then we have another one, and this is going to be LED.h. Use H. And now we have both of these. Now let's open this up. Well, actually, I'll open this up. Go ahead. LED.cpp, LED.h. Put that one into there, and then I can close this. That way they're both in the same window. And there we go. Let's full screen this. Remove all the code that's already in here. I'm going to go hashtag if endef. And this isn't the H file, header file. And we're going to have this LED underscore H. And the H should be lowercase. Then we have hashtag define. Remember, anything that I say LED like this won't mean it. That LED there, replace it with your name, with your library's name. The same here with the names of these files and the folder name. Okay, there's a lot of things that should be the same. So what we're gonna do here is hashtag define the exact same thing, LED or whatever it's called underscore H. Just make sure that it isn't if and def. Make sure it's hashtag define. Then hashtag endif. And if you're having multiple ones of these, I like doing this. Making a little comment by doing slash and then the star, and in between here I write LED underscore H. That way people know that this year is going to be the end of that, because I might have another pair of this for another file. So we're pretty much now, what we're doing here is, I'm sure you remember hashtag define. That's making a variable. And then LEDH means that we are just turning this file into a variable that we can use, which is LED.h whenever we need. So, the if and def allows us to know that this is the file that we are going to be using, and we're not trying to use another one, for example, that's called test underscore H. Test.h. That this are just, the if and def just reminds us that we are not editing something from another file. If we were editing something from another file, then we would go and give it from the other name. And even though I'm not completely sure that'll work, I never tried it. You can try though if you want, but I don't recommend it. I don't want you breaking your mom or dad's computer that you're using. Unless you bought the computer, that would be great. Anyways, and this is actually my computer, not my mom and dad's. Now anyways, let's go here, and before we continue, we need to add some other code here. I'm gonna minimize that, because we can always get that back. And what we're gonna do here is, we're gonna give in some stuff. We're gonna go class, which creates a new class. And we already tried this out, and it will work this time. Everything promise you, pinky promise, middle finger promise, thumb promise, pointing finger promise, ring finger promise, and a head promise. Yes, I do. Anyways, class, and we're going to call this exactly the same, like what our library is called. And here we go. Let me actually make this a little bit brighter. I like it nice and bright. Whoops, what's that? Anyways, class LED, and now open it like this. It should automatically close it. Add a semicolon after it though, but it's kind of weird. Most functions you don't use semicolon, and you're actually not supposed to. Now, anyways, we're gonna go here, copy everything that's here, everything, and paste it in here. Now I know this looks very terrible, so I'm going to real quickly clean this up while I explain what two keywords do. The first keyword is the public and private. Those are the ones that I'm going to explain. So if you write public or private in here, it's going to turn blue. I'll show you in a couple seconds here. And then if you add here, this here, private makes everything underneath it only the class can use. Public means this is what the whole library can use, even outside the library. So these are like functions that people want to be able to use. So this is a variable that I don't want anybody to use. So we're going to go private, colon. And this here makes it know that that there is going to be private. Only the library can use. Now, another thing we're going to want to do is set all these here so the whole library can use, even things outside the library. So people that are trying to use this are going to do it. So we're going to go here and write public. And now we're going to replace this constructor thing with LED. And we are not going to write void. This here, it's automatically going to know that this is a constructor. So let's see. I don't know what that series thing was. I need to get right back here. Actually, I think this is enough for one video. We're gonna continue in the next one. See you guys next time at Code with Marley. Bye.